Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning into the channel today. We're going to talk about the difference between the 35-12-50, and then I'm also running the 325-60-20. Nitto Ridge grapplers, Toyos, you know, kind of the difference in weight in the tires and the height in the tires, and why I chose the Nitto Ridge grappler 325-60-20 is what we're going to explain in the video. So basically, a lot of people ask, will a 35-12-50 Toyo 20 fit on a factory wheel without rubbing the radius arms? The answer to that is yes. I put 35-12-50-20s Toyo MTs on this truck, bone stock, and at full lock you would barely even notice that it was barely rubbing the radius arm. So it will clear the radius arm. Those tires ran really good. They're really smooth. The two things that, the reason why I went with the Ridge grappler is if you look at the 35-12-50 Toyo, it actually measures 35 inches in height and almost 13 in width, right? It comes in an E or an F ply, and those E and F plies, the E is good for like I think 3100, and the F is good for like 36 or 37, somewhere in that area, right? Both of those tires come in at 80 to 81 pounds, right? Those are mud terrains, okay? The Nitto Ridge grappler has the same option. You can get the 35-12-50. You can also get a 35-13-50. If you get the 35-12-50 in the Nitto, it's going to come in at close to that same weight as that Toyo, right? If you look at the metric size though, the difference between the E and the F tires is the F tires are 80 psi tires. The E tires are 65 psi tires, right? And so you have a little bigger window with the 80 psi to air them down, get a little better ride, whatever. But the reason I went with this 325 is I'll show you, is I wanted something that was a little bit taller than a 35, because actually a 35-12-50 Nitto is like 34.6, I think, in height. So what we did on this one is Nitto Ridge measures close to 34.6 in height, and I think it's like 12.8 in width or something like that. Pretty close. The difference is on these, if you want a little bit taller tire, you go with the 325. This is a 35.5 by 13 wide, right? But here's the big kicker, and the reason that I chose these is you look at all those other tires and they're close to that 80-81 pound weight, right? This tire comes in at a 68 to 69 pound tire. Now that gets rid of a lot of that rolling weight. So by getting rid of that weight, you're going to feel a little better braking. You know, you're not going to lose the acceleration. You're going to have some of those better features that you're going to notice having that off. So the difference between these tires and the other tires, I shed over 40 pounds of rolling weight, and I actually went with a little bit taller tire, a little bit wider tire. Now the other reason with the 325 is if you look at it, it's a 65 psi tire, but it being a 325 in a metric size, it actually is a 65 psi at 36 to 3700 weight rating. So, and it's an E, it's not an F. So you get to stay in the 10 ply, you get the 3700 pound rating, and you're a lighter weight tire. So that's what made me choose these tires. I like the Toyo MTs, they're really nice tires too. Let me take this camera real quick, just to kind of show y'all. If you look at the fender, these have that little bit wider stance. You know, the 35-12-50s to me were a little bit more narrow. And if you look down at these, now these do rub the radius arms at full lock. You get pretty much most of your turning, but if you turn in to the max, you can see down here, got a little paint rubbed off the radius arms. I did the Icon leveling kit on this one. It's the 2.5. I really like it. It rides great. I may actually change those radius arms out to the Carly arms because I've had those before, and they're inset, so they're offset basically, so those tires won't rub. Not that big of an issue for me right now, but as far as the stance of the truck, the tires, I love the Icon leveling kit. I want to say thanks to Outlaw Off-Road for doing that. We've got a video coming up of the install and all the details on it, drive, everything, so stay tuned for that. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. Guys, thanks again. Hit that like and subscribe. We're going to catch you on the next video.